Hey, is this thing on? I think it's on. Back to making some ridiculous little videos about bike racing and training because people apparently like them sometimes. And it's a different way to do a blog when I don't feel like typing and kind of chronicling the new year that's coming about with DNA Racing out of Oklahoma. I'm super pumped to hit up some of those races out there, like the OKC Pro Am, Tulsa Tough. I need to get more motivated for that. Crosswinds Classic with those guys is the first race of the year. Northwest Arkansas Road Race. And then a lot of the usual Tennessee ones that we're going to hit along the way. So Patrick Wally and I are on the same team. So kind of getting back into blogging and sharing and just talking about bike stuff that I think is important. I am a cycling coach. Along with Patrick and Jason Brazel, we're collaborative coaching. Um, we might talk about some weightlifting stuff or nutrition stuff or just a myriad of different topics. I'm not a nutritionist, not a weightlifting coach. And, I'm not really going to get into the weeds too much on like WKO stuff. Like I'll go over some of this because I just did my field test for to start the year off, and you can watch a ton of webinars, and there's a million probably better resources if you want to just learn about WKO. So this is more about sharing how did my test go, what am I doing from here, and it's pretty informal. As you can see, I'm sitting in my kitchen. So, all right. What we're gonna do today's ride. Kind of didn't want to show all the other athlete stuff, but it's happening. So today's ride, I'm old school. I went out for a 20-minute test, and I like the 20-minute test. No, it's not your FTP. Used to be 95% of that number you could use. There's so much more that goes into it now from the WKO algorithms that they're using. As you can see on the top here, MFTP is what the computer calculates. This is what I have mine set at, just based off of. I know I'm not where. This is this is not how you train exactly 100% proper. We've been inside for a while, right? It's been a bad winter for people in Tennessee, so I've been lifting a lot. I've been doing other aerobic exercises to keep my engine going and trying to do little tests along the way. I did hop on the rollers once, and with racing about 3 weeks out, I fudged my number a little bit because I know where I was at last October. The computer said I was at 453. I did 467 for 20 minutes at the Hincapie Grand Fondo. Shout out to Bruce Bird. That was mainly because we were just hauling and basically killing each other. It was great to see that guy from Canada. He's an absolute beast. But so the reason I'm fudging it a little bit, I'm basing my numbers off 430 because I know I can handle that little bit extra intensity to sort of like bake the cake faster. It's a slippery slope if you aren't coached by somebody or you haven't ridden a ton or you haven't done intervals for 10 years. Then you can get yourself into a situation where you're overtraining yourself, and that can really screw things up, really flatten yourself out pretty quickly, literally and yeah, literally. So I went out and my goal was to do a 20-minute test, hit 430. So I know that I'm in the above 400 watt ballpark, not as a test, but more so like when I go race, what can I do now? We've barely been on the road. I've ridden about 1,000 miles less in last December was big. Excuse me, last November. I think I rode 1,500 miles. This November I rode like 500. December wasn't a ton. So anyways, went out and here's my test. So it only went 19 minutes because these dogs came out, and that was really unfortunate. And what's up, Liam?
Hey.
I'm doing a video right now. It's good. So did the test, started out a little too hard, And then this, I believe, was a hill. And then the dogs came out here and actually bumped up the number about 5 watts. I think I was going about 439 right here. And then cut it at 19 minutes. So was happy with that. And then if I zoom back out, I wanted to do some long sweet spot, and these are the classic levels. I just like the shading; it makes it easy to break it down. You could get another review pack that would have different ones. Um, it's a quick way for me to glance at the numbers. Anyways, went out sweet spot for maybe 10 minutes, did a couple 10-minute intervals, and then just tempoed it. And then this was the ride back into the city. So you always have those drop offs as you're having to stop at stop signs and whatnot. Um, Another thing that you could really look at is here. If you use the histogram, the biggest fall off is at a 440 watt bucket. So sometimes, I would prefer to use that off of a race that has just really intense intense efforts. But the ride overall was, 0.82 intensity factor. I'm comfortable saying, yeah, I'm in the 430 ballpark. Um, the fact that I couldn't go do a ton after that immediately, I took 10 minutes off. Uh, Easiest answer to that is, what do you obviously lack if you've been doing, 2-hour gym workouts and you've been doing short rides, short intense rides outside when you can? Depth. So you're not going to have the ability to do that 20 minutes and then do it again and then do it again. Whereas, when we're a couple more months out, you're going to be doing this for 40 minutes. You're going to be doing it twice for 40 minutes. You're going to be doing 20-minute tests like 5 times. That's what's really going to make you super fast. So, and then I don't, a lot of this, it's always fun to look at your numbers versus all time. Nothing crazy all time because it's January. But for the last 90 days, I had the best 10 minutes in that. Excuse me, I had to ate a bunch of food after that. So Hincapie Grand Bondo has just fallen out of here. So in the past 90 days, I set a lot of PRs for that. Need to work on my sprint. And then lastly, what else will I show you? Oh, you know what? Time and levels percentage. This is a great one that I give my athletes. That number right there. Okay, I rested because I was trying to drill it for certain specific intervals. But if you go out and you want to make a workout you don't want to do intervals, you should do something. Put on your computer the amount of time in zone 1. You can do that in the Garmin 1000. I'm not sure of the other ones. Make sure you specify that the default says zone 1 starts at 100 watts. Make sure it starts at 0. Watch that number and keep it at 10% or less. That's a great workout. It's actually very difficult. I have really skilled athletes that go out and they come back and they're like, nailed it. I know I was in zone 2 or higher the whole time. And they'll have 20% of zone 1. So recover when you want to recover, work when you want to work. Sorry for all the ums, but this is the first video, so it's lacking structure, but I think it's a good place to start. And then we'll do this for races. We'll bring Patrick on. If you find this entertaining, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And open to constructive criticism. And let's see here. One more thing. As this thinks, use the optimized intervals. And another thing to do is look at your power duration curve, and when it loads up here, do the last 90 days and look for holes. So the red is what the model thinks you can do, and this is going to be based off MFTP, what the computer says. But yellow. I want to say green. Yellow is what you've done. So if you ever are curious of things you need to train and you're not sure and you don't have a coach, you should probably call us. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Look for holes. So I went out and did 20 minutes today. Another reason why, I mean, things before this were just, I hadn't done really hard efforts that long in a while. I clearly need to work on 20. I want to work on 20 seconds. I've got to work on 30 seconds. I also need to work on 20 seconds because it's back on the other page, but my watts per kilogram for that around Cat 1. The goal is to get it all to domestic pro, so that if you do the very few pro races that we can get into, you want to try and be competitive. And we're doing haircuts later. You want to try and be competitive, and it's easy something that. Jeez, hey, what's up, Andy? All right, with that, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. See how to stop this. There we go.